I'm Rachel Lattner, and I'm here with Online Automotive Museum. And today I'm talking with Tracy, Terry, and Kyle, and we're going to be talking about a 1967 Mustang Coupe and also a 1967 Mustang Fastback. Hi guys, thank you so much for joining us today and taking a little time to discuss your vehicles. So who wants to go first and kind of talk about how you acquired the vehicle and what the process is like?
Well, Kyle will go on.
Of course. So back in the day, back in November of 2016, we had a family friend named Paul. So he goes, "Hey guys, I have a 67 Mustang." And he didn't say 67, he said, "I have a California Special." So we knew it really wasn't a California Special. But when we saw the car, I lit up like a Christmas tree. So basically put, my dad looked around, see if there's any rust, poking through the floor a little bit, and he was kind of like, "Hey, what are you doing?" He's like, "I'm looking to see if there's any rust." So amazingly, the car had no rust on it. So, and because it was sitting for like 25 years on Sunrise Mountain, we were able to fix it and restore it. But when he passed away, we kind of just waited a little bit to let their family heal before we got started on the build. And it was really, really, really special for us, knowing that my half-sister passed away earlier. And, it was a sense of healing for him, the builder. My dad is the builder. But I designed things, and I love doing this build. I just loved every bit of it.
Yeah. Seems like you guys have the dynamic duo with this, or trio with this, and you guys all kind of have your part into it.
Of course.
Did you have to transport the car, or how did you end up getting each one of those in terms of to here? Because you said California, correct?
It wasn't from California, but it was on Sunrise Mountain in Henderson.
Oh, okay.
But we had to get it on a trailer because, the car's engine didn't run. It was a straight six. The tires were kind of deflated a little bit, but we got it there, and we started to work on it. We started to do a little demolition, deconstruction, and bag and tagging, all that type of stuff. And over time, we were like, "Man, this is going to be a good build." But we didn't know how much it's going to take because there's a lot of things that were, in the way. A lot of things didn't work out. But eventually, we got it to work.
Okay.
So,
and what was the process like? How many years did that take?
It was originally supposed to take 4 years. But when the COVID-19 pandemic hit and we were locked down, we had to stop the build. So we had to put back 1 year.
Okay.
So it really took 5 years.
Wow.
So 5 years plus everything that we had to go through. So.
And when did the second vehicle end up coming into
Well,
play?
that's when we acquired the vehicle, my son, he lived, like I said, lit up like a Christmas tree. And I looked at the car and I went, what am I getting myself into? Because I knew this was going to be a big project. But then again, I started looking at if the car has no rust, then it's going to be an easier process to advance on. So as we got the car and started digging into it and actually totally dismembered it down to the chassis, I started looking for people who were working Mustang here in the community. So I come across Terry here, which is, he's got that.
I have this beautiful 67 Fastback.
He's got a beautiful Fastback. And I met him at one of these Cars and Coffee things. And he was kind enough to help me through the process because I didn't know anything about Mustangs, to tell you the truth. So,
and we actually became very good friends out of it too.
Yes.
Not just building a car, but we became very good friends and learned a lot about
it. Was more about the friendship than it was the cars. At first, I didn't
Yes.
know what I was getting myself into because I'd never worked on a Ford before. So, like I said, my son was all excited. I couldn't let him down. We just lost a family member with that. Then we lost my daughter, and that was kind of like healing for me. So putting the car where it is now, it helped me mend because you should never bury your your kids. They should bury you. But I'm glad Terry come along and helped me out. And there's been a lot of other people that just helped me out. But Terry's,
Yeah, I was going to say there was other people, a lot of other people.
yeah,
that
there
helped
was a
out
lot of people.
us with both
But Terry's pretty much been the cornerstone of the build because he's got a beautiful car. And so he's helped me like, this works. Here's what you need to do with this.
And what doesn't work.
Yeah, and what doesn't work. There was a lot of that.
And there was some of that too, yes.
But I have to thank a lot of people out there. There was Victor, there's Sin City Muscle Cars that helped me out. There's a lot of people out there Michael and his dad helped me with parts that he had off of his car. There was a lot of people that stepped up to help me on this. And then Junior got to see the thing grow because when we took it on the chassis and then started over, it was the easier way to do it because if you don't do it that way, it seems like you're doing it kind of half-assed. I don't say that, but if you just don't tear it down to the chassis and start over, it's not really how you do it. But we did it that way, and like I said, the car turned out beautiful. A lot of friends that helped me out. I mean, and like I said, Terry's got a beautiful car. We call it the King. So
No, it's not. Well, yeah.
the King. But there was a lot of people out there that helped me out.
So really, like everyone, the community was involved with it.
Well, yeah,
Oh,
even
yeah.
the grandparents. The grandparents helped out. They, everybody had to step up, and we had a lot of people that donated a lot of stuff to it, and money and parts, and it worked out great.
Did you end up trying to keep things more original, or did you make modifications in terms of like the engine, suspension? Like what kind of things did you specifically do to upgrade this vehicle?
Well, Kyle, you designed it. So.
Yeah, I will talk about that. So my goal was to keep the car original, but at the same time just add a little modern touches because, I didn't want like an old-timey car. I wanted things to kind of be more modern, like the newer Mustangs and things of that nature. So I looked around over the years and, we were part of the Scion Club. One of the inspirations when I was at Laughlin, we did a trunk or treat. So they had blue lights in their XBs. So I thought, let's put some blue lights in the Mustang as far as when you open the door, and that worked. Another inspiration with that was when I went out of church at night when we were doing like a night mass, there was this owner of a car, I believe he had a Mercedes, or he or she, and there were like moonpool courtesy lights. So we're like, okay, how do we top it? We have blue lights, we got door sills, let's just put some courtesy lights in the car. And I know it's kind of unconventional, and I know everybody at home is going to be like, why did you even do that? Why? I would never do that in my Classic, but it's totally worth it. Like, guys, it's totally worth it.
Well, there's one thing too on the car. We had to make it safe for Kyle because he's going to be driving it. Kyle has cerebral palsy, so the thing is, we had to put
Electric
power steering, EPAS. It had to be dependable. We had to put the fuel injection in there. We actually got a newer crate motor out of 85, 86. So we had to make the car dependable for him to run around in and stuff like that. Plus, it had to have power brakes, disc brakes all the way around. We put automatic in there, C4 transmission all the way around. It has a positive traction rear end with a 325 positive traction rear end, limited slip. And there's a bunch of stuff in there. I can't remember. Oh, Dakota digital dash. I mean,
of course.
There's a lot of like little touches that kind of gives the car a more modern, but kind of a vintage still look, like he was saying. So we kind of kept the car on reins. I had to sometimes pull him back because it's like, okay, we're way overdoing it. And then Terry was we're looking at his car because the stance on his car is what we basically got the car off of. Was that stance. That stance was everything.
And we copied it almost to the T.
Yeah.
Makes it look really
Yes, and they both drive very, very nice. So
They look
lower.
like they belong together.
Of course.
Yeah,
virtually.
it's
I
a
mean, you can
mother
definitely
DNA.
see.
Oh, yeah.
It's
brothers with a different mother.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
some DNA between the two
and
cars.
then just like little differences that make it unique for your personality.
Right.
And then you said originally that the exterior was what color, and then what inspired you for the current color?
So the car was candy apple red because when I asked Paul, I was like, what's the color? His wife Crystal goes, at the time, red. So then I knew, okay.
And I couldn't have him have a red car. I'm sorry. If
And
he's
Paul
a young
was
kid,
like-
red car, no bueno. It's not going to work for us.
And Paul was like, promise me you'll restore it to its original. There's no way in hell we were going to do that. I mean, why does anybody want a straight six when you can have a V8? You can have all that power. So, we wanted to kind of please Paul in a way and kind of not disrespect him, but at the same time, we wanted to put a lot of the amenities that we wanted, because at the end of the day, like, if he were here to see this today, he would be, I don't know, he would be, astonished by it.
I think he would be floored by it.
I think he'd be happy by it. But we were able to get a 306. It was a 302, but it was a 306 out of a fat Fox body block. So my grandfather, when we were putting it in the first time starting it up, my dad, I think you know the story, you basically give him a look like, what the hell did you buy? Right?
Yeah, he was supposed to buy something that was a crate motor, which is kind of high performance. So I kind of knew right away we kind of had a little something special. But, like I said, the whole build, like I said, it wasn't more about the friendship between all of us.
It was about the camaraderie.
It boils down to the cars, but it was the friendship along the way.
That really turned out.
Because I met people all along the way that just kind of like,
And people in the family that were experienced, like my grandfather, he was experienced with a lot of engines. So I asked for headers because I knew it needed a little bit more power. It still needs a little bit more work to it, but like, I'm happy the way it is. I'm not going to put too much in it because at the end of the day, I want to enjoy it.
What are you planning to do for the future?
I've been bugging him about this. Aluminum heads.
No.
I know. But true story though. Because like in the future, I'm going to need a little bit more horsepower to get around. At this point, in this time, it needs to grow. Everything needs to grow. Everything needs to evolve. Everything needs to, So that's my theory with this car. So this car is just so special.
What makes it the most fun for you? What is it that you just enjoy the most about this car?
It's finished, but I'll tell you the best part of it. It's just, I love everything that we've done. Like the kicker audio, the lights, the engine, everything to it. Everything comes together. So I'm just happy with it.
We had the guy that painted the car. He did all the Shelby ones. So the guy that did the
Series 1.
The Series 1s over there.
Yes.
He did the car on the paint job.
His name is great.
And we did the wet sanding.
Oh, yeah.
The stripes.
Yeah, that was 115-degree weather painted.
And 115 degrees
Yeah,
in his paint booth.
that was fantastic.
Coming home.
It was a
just be
week.
like,
Yeah, and then the interior's done by Dreams Customs here in town.
Dreams Customs.
We took 16 seats out of a Mustang. Power
Butterfly the
seats.
floor.
Yeah, butterflied the floor and make it safe, and then put the seats in it.
So you guys got really lucky because this was your first kind of restoration and you didn't really have the background in it, and you happened to meet this gentleman here who has experience in that and has already gone through that process. So how long did yours take, and how many restorations have you done?
I actually purchased my car the way it is, but it was actually built back, it was restored back in 1997. Hamilton Restoration in Phoenix, Arizona did the restoration for the project. The previous owner, it took him about 3 years to finish the build, the way it is right now. But and unfortunately, he passed away, and I was able to acquire the car in 2016. And since then, I've actually had my hands on every part of the car because I've had, when I initially got it, problems with cooling, charging, suspension. So I've had my hands on just about every part, brakes, everything. So, and interior. But
But you've changed the car a little bit.
And I've changed the car too. I have changed the car out a little bit, but it's mostly cosmetic though.
Yeah.
But some performance too.
And how many other restorations have you done in the past?
I've done 2 other restorations on different vehicles, but that was years ago, decades ago, when I was younger and foolish and had availability of parts. So.
It sounds like you were able to guide them in the right direction with a lot of different.
I had a lot of Ford background history with cars that I've done in the past, and they're all the Fords are kind of built the same. They're particular. I guess that's the best way to put it. There are certain little.
They're
things
one of the most difficult cars to build because I build other cars. The thing is, the Fords are a little bit more difficult. They have beautiful body lines. That's what's great.
That's the main thing. Yeah.
The Mustang is a great car.
This year too, the 1967, which you guys both have. It's pretty
I'm the one without a car here. See, Dad, this is his.
You're the passenger.
The coupe says, the fastback says,
Uber.
Dad does Uber. Yeah, pretty much. Dad's had his fun. Dad's had 59 Cadillacs and Cudas, and Dad's had his fun with cars. So it's time for Dad to kind of sit down and let Junior kind of enjoy the reins. So.
Well, thank you guys so much for taking time to explain to me about these vehicles. Do you mind if we take it out for a ride?
Sure. Heck yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Hell yeah.
So can we talk a little bit about, so this is Kyle's car.
Right.
And your son, has cerebral palsy. He's been, has he stayed pretty stable with his disability, or?
Yeah, he's learning how to drive. He wanted something that's kind of classic-y.
Yeah.
And
he said he was really inspired by the Fast and Furious movies, and he loves the Too Fast. And said it was
yeah, and that's scary. But the thing is, it's really cool. The thing with Kyle is he really didn't want to drive until, like I said, our friend Paul had the car, and then he kept talking about this car forever and ever and ever. We go, yeah, Paul, because Paul had a lot of cars everywhere. This car was stashed at his friend's place, and it was stashed up there for 25 years. So, we kept telling him this car don't exist. Well, it does. It did exist, because when he was in his final days, he offered Kyle the car, and we went up there, and I knew right away that we were like, wow, this thing is a Mustang. And it's...
So he gifted this car to Kyle, just because...
Pretty much, yes. But, like I said, it was one of those things where Kyle had no desire to drive the car, or drive a car. And then all of a sudden, after he got a car, and we worked on it, seeing how it turned out, then he wanted to learn how to drive,
So is this car kind of dedicated to the original owner, and then you had also mentioned that your daughter had passed away?
Well, that all happened almost the same time. My daughter passed away in January of 17, and he passed away 44 days later.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, well, it's taken time to mend, and her death is still mysterious, so we don't know really what's going on with that. She was in the Air Force, so we always keep her dog tags in the car as memory. I actually wanted to do a business with her, and wanted her to come down to Vegas and start something when she retired out of the Air Force. She kind of wanted to do something, but that never happened. But I still dedicate the build on her. But it's Junior's car. I really have no say so, but he's kind of let me, he knows, and it's just, it's sad.
Yeah. It's sad, but they get to live,
well, she enjoyed what she did, and Air Force was her career. So, but like I said, when all this came down with Paul, and I don't know if it was meant to be. I was supposed to build a car, and I built other Mustangs since. So I've done other people's cars. So it turned into kind of a hobby business thing. But I'm not in for it for the money. Yeah. My wife says you should be, but this car was kind of more just wanted to do something because I wanted to, and
more of a sentimental value.
Oh yeah, evident. It's like people have asked to buy Kyle's car, and I say no. He says no. I tease him a lot.
I mean, it's in beautiful condition now. You guys did a lot of work on it.
Yeah,
I look at the interior, and the interior is just absolutely like seamless in so many different ways, and those gauges there, absolutely incredible. Even the condition of the wheel, and then you have right here the technology that you've incorporated.
Yeah, this is the Holley Sniper, and then this is the Dakota Digital. That's all modern. He's got the modern stereo. This was a Shelby console, to tell you the truth. This was a Shelby out of the original Shelby thing. We just had the upholstery guy do it. Lacar has actually helped with this gear shift knob and all this stuff. So we used the Cougar handle.
And it's automatic?
It's an automatic. We make it look like a stick. The only way to know is by looking at the pedal.
And you guys had put some speakers in there as well?
It's got the Kicker Auto helped us out with a lot of the stuff. I mean, a lot of the stuff was actually helped out and kind of sponsored, but we weren't looking for a handout. We weren't looking for a lot of things where maybe, everything was kind of a discount price.
Yeah.
We need a lot of help with that, with the discounts, because, like I said, this has electric power steering for Kyle. I mean, it's just.
Are you planning to take this car out to more car shows? Or?
Oh, definitely. We're going to show it off. I'm going to send you pictures of this car, what it looked like before, and you're going to go, no way. So, yeah, way. It was bad. I mean, we forgot to mention that when we built this car, there was about, 2 months worth of spiders in this thing that was sitting, because it sat in one spot for like 20-something years. It took forever to get rid of the Black Widow spiders in this car.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, yeah.
So
and you're sitting
really
there, and you're sitting next to it. Yeah, there was a whole bunch where you were sitting.
Oh wow.
No, I'm just kidding. But there was a lot of Black Widow spiders in this car. So it took 2 months to bomb this car and to get rid of the. We took the bell housing off because it had a 6-cylinder 3-speed, and the bell housing was nothing but looked like pillowcase, and that was the nest of the Black Widow spiders. But it was really
dangerous.
Oh, it was
in a lot of ways. Thank God that you guys are here to talk about it.
The day we went to pick it up with the wrecker, one came out of the door handle and it went right for my thumb. So right then we knew. Whoa! But like I said, that was the only thing that was bad about it. It didn't have rats. The wiring, we did everything. Like I said, we took it down to the shell and it started completely over because it was the only way to do it. Everything has the wiring on this thing's brand new. American Auto Wire. There's a lot of things on this car that was just brand new, and it's just everything on the suspension's brand new. Everything.
I see that you have this little emblem here. What is that from?
That is from another show we did here in Vegas at the Speedway. So,
okay, awesome. So, did you guys ride it around the track then, or? No. We barely got 800 miles on this car. Oh, wow.
We're still new, so.
Yeah.
So.
Well, thank you so much for your time, and
no problem.
It's just obviously this car is more meaningful than just a car, and thank you for sharing that experience and telling your story.
You're welcome. And thanks for thanks for your time and actually hearing our story.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
I was the inspiration for Tracy's coupe. Him and I met at a car show 6 years ago, and we became very good friends. Just from talking about Mustangs, I understood his passion. I understood what he was talking about. When he told me about the coupe and his son, and that he really wanted to do this for his son, I was almost honored. I felt honored doing it because it just does good to helping other people. I guess that's the best way to put it.
Absolutely. And I think that's something that a lot of people probably don't understand is almost kind of like a secret is I feel like the Ford community and just muscle car community in general is very supportive of each other. And
yes.
of like exciting when someone else gets excited
Yes.
about a classic car.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. And it is becoming a dying breed, unfortunately. It would be nice to see more of the youth at the car shows these days, but there's just a lot going on right now in the world that.
So I thought the same thing, and obviously I don't know what it's like in previous years and stuff because I've been newer to this in the last couple years.
Yeah.
But it really is quite a bit of people who I meet who they have been inspired by classic cars that are younger and that are getting more into it. So.
And that's good. That's what we like to see. We like to see. I absolutely enjoy seeing younger people at car shows, and it just seems that when it comes to the availability of parts and stuff, it seems that parts are becoming available for classic cars. They're still out there. There are still finds that you can get out there. You can find vehicles out there without spending a ton of money.
Yeah.
There are the vehicles.
We were just talking about those with the, I like Ford Broncos, but like, between 66 and 77, and there's some that I've been finding too that aren't too bad.
Oh yes.
So that's great. And then they also, really do appreciate in terms of just value and sentimental value. I think rebuilding and putting together a car like this, it kind of bonds you to it. Like I said,
it does.
For the good or the bad, trauma or for good memories, it definitely bonds you.
Oh yes, yes it does, and it just makes you. And the car club community in general, especially out here in Las Vegas, seems to be really strong right now. A lot of good people out here, a lot of good builders out there, and people doing the right thing, and that's always good to see. I certainly hope it continues to be like that.
So your car is different. It's fastback.
Yes.
And also, you talked about the engine. So the engine similarities, you said 306.
Correct. It's 306. 30 over 302.
Okay.
Yes.
And then some of the differences are, because this car is a lot faster, has more pickup for sure. What are the differences that allow that?
The difference is, this being a manual transmission, it's a 5-speed, T5 5-speed with a 350 rear gear. It does have aluminum heads, and it does have a larger cam in it also. This also is a carbureted car, and Tracy's is fuel injected. So that makes a little bit of difference too.
Yeah. And you said about the exhaust differences too.
Yeah, the exhaust is a little bit different. I'm running a Flowmasters on mine, and he, I believe, is running Dynamax. Did he tell you what kind of?
No, he didn't. I noticed it coming into the last, into his vehicle, into yours. You could hear the difference. You could feel the difference. I was like, yes, these are very similar, but they're not the same at all.
Yes.
Absolutely not. And then it looks like the interior that you have too is very, very original. You can see the differences in the leather and the detailing. And so where did you get these seats from?
These seats actually came out of a 1989 Mustang GT.
Wow.
That's where they came from, and they had to modify the bases of the seats just to make them fit in the seat wells properly.
Yeah. And then you talked a little bit about how the pressure for the brakes, you have something unique here I have never even seen before in terms of this gauge over here.
Yes. I actually have electric brakes on the vehicle, very similar to modern brakes. I did the upgrade not too long ago because I wanted to have the car takes off good.
It's pretty decent.
It's decent, but it stops really good. So that's the main thing. So you got to be safe out there too.
Absolutely.
When you build these classics, they have to go and they have to stop.
Yes. And so the pressure gauge that you have that allows for a more accurate braking system is what you're saying, or?
Are you talking about for the knob?
Yeah.
Actually, that's the adjustable proportioning valve to where I can adjust the pressure front to rear, the brake bias front to rear. Most people mount them underneath the hood up by the master cylinder, and I mounted mine in between the two seats so I can actually adjust it on the fly while I'm driving. If I feel like I need more front brake, I can increase the pressure. If I don't need as much, I can decrease it so that it's on all four wheels better.
Awesome. makes this vehicle so enjoyable for you?
I fell in love with it. I looked for 4 years for a car. Couldn't find anything that I really wanted until I came across this car, and I fell in love with it. And it will be my last car.
Your last car? No more?
This is my personal last car. I will be more than happy to help somebody if they want to build a car.
Yeah.
Be more than welcome to help them and assist them. But this is definitely my car, so it's not going anywhere.
How could someone get a hold of you if they want some advice?
Best way to get in touch with me would be on my Instagram page at fastback Terry on Instagram.
Fastback Terry.
Fastback Terry, all one word, on Instagram.
I'll definitely be asking for some advice when I finally get that Ford Bronco.
Absolutely.
And for someone who's never restored a car, similar to me, I've never restored a car. Mine's a 22 Dodge Challenger, so not Ford. What would you advise them on? What would be kind of like the pinnacle things that you think someone should know going into this?
Going into it, you just got to go into it with your eyes open and expect to spend at least twice as much as what you think you're going to spend. And then multiply that times 10.
Okay.
And time too.
Time too.
And time too, yes.
Well, I think we can be efficient with our time and also with our money by contacting you. So I will definitely connect with you on Instagram.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Rachel.
Thank you. This is Rachel Lattner with Online Automotive Museum, and we'll see you out on the road.